This shelf-stable pantry mix is a just add water Alfredo sauce that's incredibly easy and quick to make, but it tastes just like something you get from a restaurant. I'll show you how to assemble and then cook the Alfredo sauce, and I'll even show you my recipe for a copycat bechamel that I use as the base. Anybody can do this, and you'll never have to buy those overpriced and yet lacking in flavor jars of Alfredo sauce from the grocery store ever again. Well, hi there everyone. My name is Kareth. I'm a wife, a mom, an author, and a cook. On this channel, I like to create recipes using freeze-dried food. Sometimes it's completely shelf-stable, like a meal or a mix in a jar. Other times, I combine freeze-dried with fresh, but all the time, it's delicious. I'm here to help people who have freeze-dried food on their shelves to know how to cook with it. I test out recipes so you don't have to. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. First, I'm going to show y'all how I make my Alfredo sauce. Now, this recipe is in my second cookbook. It's fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. It's a meal in a jar. But I know how much y'all like my sauce mix recipes, so I thought I would do a video with just the sauce mix. So what I'll do is I'll put a list up on the screen here of the ingredients that you'll need to make the Alfredo sauce. And if you'll notice, it requires bechamel sauce mix in the Alfredo sauce. That's part of the mix. So I thought, you know what? I'm running low on it anyway. I'll go ahead and make some and I'll video that. So that recipe will come after this recipe. And if you're not interested in it, then you can just skip it and fast forward. Here's what that page looks like in my second cookbook. All right, the first thing I did was I took some freeze-dried Parmesan cheese, that's Thrivalist brand, and I put it in the blender and I blended it up to make it a little bit more of a powder. Now you can order powdered Parmesan cheese that is shelf-stable, like from Amazon, but I didn't have that, so I just blended the stuff that I did have. If you use something that's not shelf-stable, then if you make this mix, you'll have to keep it in the fridge. All right, that right there is heavy cream powder. I'm putting all these ingredients in a big bowl because I like to whisk it first and mix it up really good before I put it in the jar. The heavy cream powder brand does matter. I don't think all heavy cream powder is good quality. I don't think it all tastes good. I use the Anthony's brand from Amazon. I'll link to it below. And then after the cream powder, I put in the bechamel sauce, and you can use the stuff from Thrivalist if you have it. And if not, like I said, I'm going to do a recipe for that in just a minute. Okay, in goes the Parmesan, in goes some butter powder, and then we just have seasonings. I've got some salt, some kosher salt, and this is garlic powder here. And then we're gonna put some black pepper in there, as well as a couple of maybe unexpected ingredients, like a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of cayenne. Now the nutmeg, it pairs beautifully with cream. Fresh grated nutmeg is great in a cream sauce, so of course it's going to be great in this. And just a little bit of cayenne pepper. Mine was kind of stuck. I really didn't put that much in there. Just maybe like 1/8 of a teaspoon, okay? Does it make your Alfredo sauce spicy? No, it doesn't. Not that amount. But does it give you like a depth of flavor? Yes. I don't know how to describe it because I'm not that articulate, y'all, but it gives like a bottom to the flavor profile. So it's really, really good. You can store this in a quart-sized jar, and it should be good for as long as your ingredients that you put in there are good. So take a look at the expiration date on the back of your heavy cream powder bag and that kind of thing, and just make sure you use it up by then. Now, this is the part where I'm going to show you my bechamel sauce recipe. I will put the exact measurements to both of these recipes in the description box below. It's not a difficult recipe. This has been up on my channel for years. I mean, at least a couple of years. And it's really popular. People love it that have tried it because a lot of my recipes use bechamel sauce mix in there. It always seemed like Thrivalist was out of bechamel sauce. It was really helpful to have a copycat mix on my channel. So anyway, here's a list of the ingredients you'll need. That is cookbook number 1 that has the bechamel sauce mix recipe in it. Okay, so this is the same recipe that's already up on my channel, but I just thought I'm gonna show you how I make it. I have a lot of new subscribers and you might not know about it. So that's the same bowl. I've got that same bowl, I just wiped it out. I'm gonna make this bechamel sauce mix in it. The first thing that goes in is a couple of cups of instant milk powder, and then I'm gonna add some heavy cream powder to it. So bechamel sauce is basically a cream sauce. It goes in a lot of different things as just an ingredient, like any cream soups or whatever I use it. And then also you can just make the sauce by itself and put it on like in a lasagna. Lots of different things called for bechamel sauce. Okay, I've got cornstarch in there. I've got butter powder in there, a good amount of chicken bouillon, and then a good amount of onion powder. And then just some more seasonings go in here. So some garlic powder, some celery seed, some ground thyme, or if you have regular thyme, that's fine. In fact, I should have put that celery seed in my spice grinder. I just forgot to do it. It's probably better if you put it in there. A little bit of poultry seasoning, and then some black pepper, some kosher salt, and then just like a dash of nutmeg again, because nutmeg pairs really beautifully with cream. You can just give that a whisk, a really good stir, and then this also will fit into a quart-sized jar. With both of these mixes that I've just showed you here, you can double these recipes. You could cut them in half. Like you can scale them up or down depending on how much sauce mix you need. And so just feel free to do that. I typically make at least a quart-sized jar of each of these anytime I have to get out all these ingredients. If you enjoy cooking with freeze-dried foods, please consider owning my cookbooks. They're both available on Amazon in paperback and as a digital download on my website, thefreezedriedfoodie.com. I'll link to both below. If you own freeze-dried food and want to be able to cook delicious meals with it, then you'll love having my cookbooks. They're loaded with completely shelf-stable meals and mixes. And although I wrote the recipes with Thrive Life ingredients in mind, you can use any brand, including home freeze-dried foods. All right, back to the recipe. Whenever you're ready to make the Alfredo sauce, you'll need to get out a pot. And what I like to do is go ahead and start the pasta or whatever I'm going to put it on, like get that going in the background. And then this is optional, y'all, okay? Optional as in you don't have to do it, but I like to do it this way. I get a blender cup. See that plastic cup there? That's a blender cup, and I've got a cup of water in it. And then I'm going to put about a cup of the sauce mix. So that's, 2 or 3 servings of sauce here that I'm going to make. Other than just the pasta I'm showing you, I'm also going to use it on an Alfredo pizza tonight. So anyway, I was making extra. So I like to blend it a couple of times in that blender cup. And all that does is it just makes sure that there's no lumps. That's all it's doing. You can skip that step, okay? The ratio here is about a 1-to-1 ratio of mix to water. And I say about a 1-to-1 because I do need to allow for a little bit of extra water to rinse out my blender cup. So if you're making like just 1 serving, then maybe an extra tablespoon or 2 is all you need of the water. I was making a double recipe, so I put like 1/4 of a cup of water in the bottom of that thing just to rinse out the blender cup. So anyway, you can get some heat going. And once it gets nice and hot, you're gonna have to stick around, if you know what I mean. Don't walk off here because that cheese is gonna be melting, that Parmesan cheese that's in there, and you just don't wanna walk away. It will tend to stick on you. So I would come pretty often, pretty regularly, and whisk that. I needed to pay a little bit of attention to the pasta in the background, so I needed to stir that a little bit. But yeah, at least every minute or so, come along and stir that. What you want to do, like once it reaches a bubble, you can turn down your temperature. I think I landed at like a 3 out of 10, and I let that cook for about 5 minutes on a medium low. And see, it's nice and thick. So if you stick a spoon in there, You can drag your finger through and you'll see how thick it is. And you can taste that, you can adjust, you can add more seasonings if that's what you need, or, a splash of heavy cream, whatever you want on there. I didn't add anything, I thought it was fantastic. I went ahead and drained my pasta and I put about 1/3 of the Alfredo sauce that I had cooked onto that pasta. There was a little bit of water in the bottom there and it thinned out my sauce. But you'll see as it sits, it thickens up and it's just a really, really nice consistency. I went ahead and put some chicken on mine. Like you can make whatever you want. Once you have this Alfredo sauce, you can do literally whatever you want with it. I got some chicken on there and I cut up some parsley. And then I'm just grating on some fresh Parmesan cheese because I thought this will make beautiful pictures. And I think it does. I think it makes really, really pretty pictures. I love it that you can make the exact amount of Alfredo sauce that you want to make at that time. If you have this sauce mix on your shelf, then you can just make like 1 serving of it. Versus if you're buying a jarred Alfredo sauce from the grocery store, then you're gonna have to deal with the leftovers. Like you can only leave it in your fridge for a certain amount of time before it grows green stuff. Using my Alfredo sauce mix, it allows you to just, not deal with leftovers. You can literally make 1 serving at a time, or, you can make however much you need at the time. And I love having the mix on my shelf. I also love the fact that I know exactly what I put in it. It doesn't have any weird ingredients. It's literally Parmesan, heavy cream, butter, seasonings. Like it's good ingredients. I mean, it's much cleaner than anything you could buy at the store. And y'all, it tastes amazing. The sauce is not only super creamy, but that Parmesan has that really nice salty bite to it. It's just so perfect. I started to taste this and I was trying to show y'all the sauce and I realized I couldn't really show you very well because I had put so much chicken on the top. So I went back to the kitchen and I added some more Alfredo sauce on top of the chicken. And at this point, it had been sitting there for probably 5 or 6 minutes. But can you see how much thicker it is now? It really thickens nicely as it sits. As it cools, it does thicken more. So I just took some more pictures with the extra sauce on it in an effort to just show you how fantastic and how beautiful and smooth and creamy this sauce mix ends up being. It is wonderful. And I think one of the things that makes it so special is the fact that I went ahead and blended it with the water beforehand. It just makes sure everything turns out really, really smooth. It's a fantastic sauce. Like I said, you can use it for whatever you want to use it for. But in this instance, I put it on pasta. Tonight, I'm going to put it on pizza as an Alfredo, a garlic Alfredo pizza. And it's going to be so, so yummy. Well, all right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching, for spending part of your day with me. I really do appreciate that. I've got a verse for you for today. I like to do a verse of the day. And today's verse is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 5, and it reads, "But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed." Praise the Lord for that. All right, guys, I will include the links below to where you can buy my cookbooks. The print ones are on Amazon. The digital downloads are on my website, thefreezedriedfoodie.com. I'll link all of that below. I'll also put a link for the heavy cream powder that I like and some other things that you might need for this recipe. I hope you have a blessed weekend and a fantastic day today. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.